Eye of the Predator came into being when I came to know that Baitullah Mehsud had met someone 6 months before his death. I had my grounds to believe that this was the man who was responsible for his death. This man has a tremendous standing in the world of the AFPAC region. And then, a man considered to be the most dangerous terrorist of South Asia, traveling all the way from his secure hideout in Makeen, climbing the rooftop terrace, and killed while in an act of fornication. It's a very fascinating thing. Actually, he joins the list of people like Attila the Hun who died while doing it. So I was very fascinated to write about this guy, and that's how it came into being. I was getting information about important events that was not reported in the media, like the one I've just mentioned. But apart from that, I actually had to think in terms of how would a man suffering from chronic diabetes, totally insecure of his standing as the leader of the Tehreek-e-Taliban, desperately wanting to have a son, how would such a man behave? So my Baitullah in a way is like Othello. Of course, I don't remember having read Othello, but I could easily say I've seen Omkara. So Omkara, as you know, was based on Othello. So Baitullah is very much like an Othello, and that is how I've kind of modeled his personality. I've been very lucky to marry fact and fiction throughout the book, which you discover when you read it. For example, there's an attack that took place in Hotel Marriott in Peshawar. There was an actual attack that took place in which 15 diplomats were killed. Now I have placed 3 of my characters in that attack. So the meeting of those 3 characters is fiction, but the attack is what that actually took place. So I was very lucky that how fact and fiction got married throughout the book. This was my lucky day while I was writing it. When I wrote this book, I wrote it because I found the story very fascinating. But now actually I think that the audience of this book really lies beyond India also. I would actually look for a kind of pan-European American audience. Because as I said, this issue is more closer to them. It impacts them directly. It does impact us. You know, the fact that the ISI is playing a very interesting game, and the Indians stand out to be the biggest losers. Because imagine if the Taliban are allowed to enter the mainstream of Afghanistan. What happens? What happens to our 5 consulates that are actually functioning inside Afghanistan? What happens to the Indians? You know, Indians have been the target of the Taliban for the past couple of years. So it's going to be a very interesting and a very dangerous scenario for Indians.